What's up everyone, I'm Jedi Master Core and this is 10 fighting and flying tips for Century Age of Ashes. During the video, I'll have footage of some of my better games where I implement these strategies to get kills and effectively escape from my enemies. While those play, let's get into those tips and tricks. My first tip is don't fly straight. I know this sounds obvious, but flying definitely has a learning curve in this game, so it's good to be constantly turning and changing elevation to get a feel for how the player moves around the field. There are mountains, rocks, and structures you can use to get cover when an enemy has locked onto you. When you're flying around the map looking for people to take out, don't forget you're also a target, and someone flying straight, especially low ground, can be easy pickings. Dart around mountains and structures, even when there doesn't seem to be a point. It can help you get the jump on someone as well as keep enemies from being able to lock onto you very easily. And when you do get locked on, use the small tunnels and tight turns to break their point of view in fireball tracking. This does not always guarantee you'll dodge every fireball, but it definitely helps in getting one or two to miss and getting you out of fire breath range quickly. I've had many fights where I can escape with just a sliver of health and go on to never even die in that round because I continuously maneuvered, giving my teammates the opportunity to start chasing the enemy chasing me. There are many times when I'm chasing a kill and it's kind of like they just give up. They fly straight and let me wail on them with fireballs and fire breath. When someone is attacking you, they generally don't have enough stamina to keep the attack up for very long, so even if you're taking considerable damage, look for any tunnels that might be around and use those to weave in and around a mountain. This helps make you unpredictable, confusing your pursuer and giving you the chance to escape. My second tip is use boosts effectively. Boosting is super fun in this game. It feels fast and genuinely frightening when I mess up my maneuvers and I hit a wall or something. But something I've learned is you don't always need to be going fast. Conserve stamina and replenish often. There are two main scenarios I'm going to discuss for boosting: attack boosting and defensive boosting. First we'll talk about defensive boosting because I feel like this is where I had a lot of trouble when I first started. You'll end up boosting a lot more if you're escaping from an enemy because you'll probably start gravitating to the bottom of the field, putting you closer to stamina regen areas. You also regenerate stamina from the Skywells, so constantly try to be going through those areas as you use up your boosts dodging around to break your opponent's line of sight on you. This will give your teammates a chance to start launching an attack on your attacker and sparing you an untimely death. A quick tip when taking tight turns is to tap your brake button once or twice to really make the turn tight. Holding the brake button will cause you to slow down considerably and make you an easy target for flame breaths. When boosting for an attack, conserving boost is much more important because it is generally more effective to start an attack from above your opponent. Say you've flown into the sky and you spot an enemy just below you flying in a straight path. I like to turn towards them, give myself a boost to catch up, launch 3 fireballs in quick succession, boost again, and begin using flame breath on them. This has netted me countless kills, and it's crazy how quickly it can kill a player sometimes, especially if they're already wounded. This only uses 2 boosts, but you've probably already gotten much lower on stamina, so go ahead and refill. If you don't get the kill or the person escapes, it's not a big deal because teamwork is huge in this game, which brings me to my 4th tip. Don't tunnel vision. The longer you're focused on trying to get the kill, the more time another enemy has to see your trajectory and launch an attack on you. Say you hit the guy for 3 fireballs and you just need to get that last fireball or flame breath on them, but the guy's just dodging in and out of tunnels and such, I can guarantee you'll have someone on your tail trying to do the same to you. Now, I'm not saying don't go for the kill, just be aware of your surroundings. While you're going for the kill, the moment you see those fireballs coming at you, your priority shifts to protecting your own hide. Take a sharp turn, boost, use your abilities, do whatever you can to stay alive while you wait for a teammate to engage them or you lose them. My 5th tip is use Skywells to see the battlefield. When I'm flying around, whether looking for a kill or trying to escape being killed, utilizing the Skywells will be your best friend. It can be a quick way to break the line of sight of someone chasing you, dodge fireballs, and give you the opportunity to scope the field in search of your next target. When you're taking a Skywell defensively, I would not recommend looking around too much. It's better to use them to continuously change elevations and replenish stamina, making you much harder to track and kill. However, if you've just gotten a kill and not sure where to go next, take a Skywell and hold break at the top. Your dragon will hover and you can look around and look for that next target. Just don't sit too long or someone might think you're the next target. My 6th tip is use your abilities. Abilities are huge in helping you win engagements. I personally have been using the Phantom class because it reminded me of Wraith from Apex Legends, and if you know that game, you know how OP she is, especially before all the changes made to her abilities. Anyways, Phantom is great for getting away from enemies because he literally cancels any fireball thrown at him by turning invisible. Even if you've got 10 fireballs coming your way about to end your whole career, you pop your stealth and boom, the fireballs disappear, you disappear, and your opponent is left empty-handed. They're forced to reset and you can refill your stamina with relatively no threat to your existence while invisible. Even if you're not using the abilities effectively at first, just use them when you think about them to start getting familiar and understanding how the abilities work. All classes have effective abilities for getting enemies off their tail. My 7th tip is go for shields. Go for shields when you're full health and especially when you've taken some damage. It can be smart to try and maneuver into shields when you're being chased by an enemy. Be careful of the shields up high though, because phantoms can use mines and like to put their bombs in a way that if you go for the shield, it will blow up and effectively render the shield useless by doing damage to you at the same time you pick it up. Every time you're low to the ground for stamina regen, try and hit a shield as well, even if you have some. It's good to try and keep the max amount of shield allowed applied to your health. Tip number 8 is predict your fire breath attack. When you're chasing enemies in close quarters because they keep dodging back and forth or around corners, you can start to go a bit slower and maybe even hover to make tracking easier and get a good amount of fire breath damage done to an opponent. If you know someone is coming around the corner, go ahead and start shooting it where you think they'll be and watch them fly right into it, getting easy damage and even easier kills. I also try to predict when I'll be close enough to someone I'm pursuing and begin using flame breath a little before I'm in range, just to make sure I maximize damage since they'll usually try boosting away or turning corners before I run out of breath. Tip number 9 is help your teammates with their kills, and don't be mad if your teammate steals your kill. If you're flying around and see your teammate going for a kill, go ahead and shoot some fireballs at the enemy as well. Maybe try to get in front of them and hit them with a steady fire breath as they fly by. This absolutely helps in keeping your team on top and winning the match. It will make the other team feel completely helpless when they're flying around and just constantly being harassed by random fireballs with no real enemy to try and escape from. My last tip is hanging out on mountainsides. You can do this by taking a sharp turn and then just holding the brake button, causing you to hover. This can give you a moment to get your bearings straight and maybe even lose someone pursuing you, as people tend to be going fast and not really slowing down for anything. Now, as you get into higher levels of play, this will not work as often, and you'll need to boost away in another direction or have your flame breath ready to launch a counter assault, because good players will just slow down and start pummeling you with their own fire breath. This tip is good for beginning players, but as you get more advanced, you'll need to make the follow-up more advanced as well. You'll start to be able to dodge back in the direction you came, making following you extremely difficult. And you can set up ambushes, especially if you have an ally that has locked onto the enemy pursuing you. Those are my 10 beginner fighting and flying tips for Century Age of Ashes. If you learned something new or if you think I missed a good tip, let me know down in the comments. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you everyone, and I'll catch you next time.
Okay. Later. Oh shit. Fucking die. I am. Yo, it's your boy. Smokey, group up. What you doing? Laters. Damn, 7-0.